Welcome, Henk, to the first Evalan podcast. It's a special moment because this year Evalan celebrated its 15 years anniversary, and we thought it's a good idea to make a podcast to reflect on the past 15 years and hear the story of Evalan.
Well, thank you very much, Evert. Really nice to do this, and let's start with the questions.
Yeah, so the first question is, 15 years is a lot of time. It's a long duration. Does it actually feel like 15 years?
Well, I think it mostly feels as a sequence of different phases. So it's not as if it's one period of 15 years that is all the same, but Evalan went through different stages of development as a startup, as a scale-up, and as a going concern. And it definitely feels like, almost like a whole bunch of different experiences all packed together.
And at certain times went quicker as other periods?
Well, I think overall it just goes by very, very fast. So I look back at the 15 years and I don't know where the time has gone. I think that is, probably not just for me, but many people probably have those experiences. But I think when you're in a situation like starting a company and trying to grow that, it's definitely intense and the time flies.
Yeah. All right. That's good to hear. I suppose you're having fun then?
Well, I really do, and especially because I think we're working with a very, very good team, and that is really a lot of fun. Yes.
All right. So that leads me to the next question. At a certain point of time, you started out, I guess, which wasn't with a team. What was the reason that you started Evalan in the first place?
Yeah, I had gotten some exposure to what they called telemetry. And I saw how when you start with telemetry, which is basically connecting a device through a central database or through something that you can connect to from remotely, what that can do to an organization and to a business. And I thought that that was really powerful, and I also thought that given all the developments that are going on in technology, computer technology gets cheaper and cheaper, and you can do more and more with smaller platforms. Telecommunication grows, what you can do with data is more and more advanced, that would become a revolution in the world. And that became, I think, what is now this IoT wave that we're in, and that was the reason why I started Evalan.
So you saw the potential?
Well, I think that I experienced that potential through this exposure to telemetry, and the company I at the time worked for was one of the pioneers of using that in their business, and it really changed their business a lot. The way they run their operations, the way they make their investments, and even the loans they could get with the bank, their interest rate changed, because they could better prove the value of their asset base.
Yeah, I also suppose back in the days it was quite innovating and new. Now everybody knows IoT and data, and perhaps wants to collect this data. Was it a lot harder to sell products or services regarding to IoT back in the days as it is now?
Well, I think I don't think it's it's easier or harder. I do think there is more awareness of the potential of data, and therefore, when you start talking about IoT applications and possibilities, you will quicker find that people listen to you compared to, say, 20 years ago. But I still think that there is still a misunderstanding in many enterprises about what it really can do for a company or an organization. So there are companies that have gone data-driven, data transition, those are words that you hear a lot, that they've really embraced it, but there are also still a lot of sectors that have not.
All right. So it's up to us to inform those sectors what the potential is.
Well, I think there is a role for companies like Evalan to indeed explain that, but it's also something that people have to become aware of themselves and recognize what it can do for their business. What a company like Evalan can do is we can provide the technology, the solutions, and make it happen. But we don't always understand the business of our customers well enough to do that on our own. It has to be done together with the customer who understand their business and what data can do for their business. And only if you have that type of relationship with the customer, you can really make it fly.
Yeah, all right. And in those 15 years, Evalan has made a lot of good relationships, but I also think in those 15 years you have learned a lot and you have experienced a lot. Could you name a few things which are most memorable within these 15 years?
Well, I think one of the key elements of one of the key points is that I learned that IoT is a very complex solution. It consists out of a number of different technology platforms, sensors, electronics, with microcontrollers, firmware. There's communication over wireless networks, the telecom networks. There's cloud or backend applications. There is user interaction elements, and there is advanced data processing, or sometimes it's simple data processing. But these are all expert domains in itself that only work if you that have to come together, and these different experts have to work together in order to make that complete solution. On top of that, IoT, the implementation of IoT, is often a change process with an enterprise or a company, and that makes it even harder to implement IoT solutions. So one of the things that I learned over time is it's not so easy to do IoT solutions right. And so that's one. Another thing is more from a personal point of view in the company, that I learned that giving good people freedom and responsibility to work in their field in the way they can do best often leads to very good results, rather than trying to guide them too much at the detailed level. And that is also what we do at Evalan, and I think it's working really well.
Oh, that's good to hear. And regarding the team, the people who work at Evalan, what has changed in terms of the team, or how we work together at Evalan?
Well, as you grow as a company, you start to work more with processes and certain work procedures, and that has definitely also found its way in Evalan. So if I look back, say 10 years ago, the work was mostly done by individuals who were responsible for their individual domain, and at only a very high level we're putting the systems together. Now there are teams with multiple people working on the same system or the same solution or the same element of the solution, and that requires a different way of working. And I think that's one of the main changes that took place in Evalan from a work process point of view.
And maybe in terms of how we approach clients or deal with clients, has something changed there?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I think we have made big steps, definitely the last few years, in how we are able to attract interest and leads to our company, compared to how that was done, say, 10 years ago. We're engineers. Our company started with engineers, and most of the people in our company are engineers, so we're very comfortable with the engineering processes. We definitely had to learn a lot more about marketing and about communication than in the fields of engineering, and you see that at Evalan too.
All right. And in terms of the technology itself, has that changed a lot in the last 15 years?
Yeah, that's changed dramatically. So, and that is still changing today all the time, which makes IoT fascinating and really interesting. And things that were good solutions 5 years ago or 10 years ago are not good solutions anymore now. One of the areas that gotten a lot of attention with IoT is security. And if you look at older IoT systems, 5 years and older, there was very little attention to that topic, and there was also not the same type of interest in trying to mess with it. That has changed dramatically, and security of IoT systems is a very important theme. And there are good solutions, fortunately, but it's something that requires discipline and implementation in order to make the systems right in that way.
Yeah, I could understand. So that's a quick look back at the last 15 years. Do you dare to predict what the future has to offer in terms of IoT or for Evalan as a company?
Well, I think that the developments of IoT and the way it's being used will continue to evolve dramatically. There's the interesting thing about IoT is that it's progressing along three main drivers. One is the capabilities of embedded systems, so small electronic systems. There's a so-called Moore's law, which says that every 10 years the cost and the capabilities of electronics for the same cost and the same footprint have 100 times more processing power. So that opens up the door to very significant developments in the field. At the same time, you have enormous developments in mobile telecom networks. Now with 5G coming, the bandwidth growing significantly. And the third part is that the technology with which you can process data, advanced data processing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, is also progressing rapidly. And the barriers of entry of using those types of technologies are coming down significantly. So along all of these three pillars or paths, there's significant developments, and IoT is benefiting from that. So more and more becomes possible for lower cost, and I think that for the next at least 30 to 50 years, there will be a lot of systems connected to the internet, and at some point everything will be connected.
So that has a lot to do in terms of the technology, which is growing and evolving. But what do you think the world will look like in 15 years? Is everything going to be predicted, or perhaps other expectations?
Yeah, that's a really difficult question.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't venture into that, Evert. I don't know. I think, anybody's guess. I think if you look at how the world looks today and you compare that with 15 years ago, then I think you'll see all kind of things that was not on the radar of anybody.
No.
And probably the same thing will happen in the next 15 years. What I know is what I expect is that IoT will play a very significant role in almost everything that we do on a daily basis.
Yeah, I could understand. Yeah. Well, that leads me to the last question, which is: do you have a goal with Evalan or something you wish to achieve?
Well, I think our main goal is that every day we want to make our customers happy with what we do and what we deliver to them. So our customers are leading us. They know their business and their objectives, and we try to understand that as well as we can and translate that to implementations or IoT implementations or solutions that serve their interests the best. And we work, I think, we work well if we have customers that that work together with us on that basis. So provide the domain expertise and allow us to provide the expertise about the IoT technology. And that combination, I think we are successful with that, and my goal is to continue that and to make sure that our customers continue to be happy and that we can grow with our customers into maybe larger operations or larger systems.
Awesome. That's it for this podcast. Thank you. Next podcast will be in the next 15 years. No. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Evert. It was good. Yeah.